On Sunday night in Libya, 2 dams were overwhelmed. The floods that followed surged through the city of Derna. Thousands of people have died. And while we don't yet know why the dams failed, the impact of the disaster is complicated by Libya's political situation.
The country has been plunging from conflict to conflict and suffering from a lack of governance. And so it's a tragedy that has been in the making for a number of years.
This reaches back to the decades that Colonel Gaddafi ruled Libya, and also to what followed. In 2011, the Arab uprisings that began in Tunisia spread to neighbouring Libya. The West, led by the UK and France, intervened in the conflict to support Gaddafi's opponents. Later that year, Gaddafi would be ousted and killed. But stability didn't follow.
For 42 years, this is a country that has been ruled with an iron fist by Gaddafi's regime. It was a vile, repressive regime which didn't leave in place any institutions.
Instead, there were factions competing for power and for oil. And until 2020, there was a war between 2 rival governments. Now, the fighting has largely stopped, but Libya remains divided. On this map, in the northeast, you can see Derna, where the floods hit. It's in the area marked in red. That's controlled by one government. The area in orange is controlled by another. And having 2 competing governments creates a range of issues.
Infrastructure has sort of not been a priority, either building new infrastructure or repairing old infrastructure, including, dams, roads, and the electricity grid.
One minister in the eastern government says the dam that collapsed hasn't been maintained for a while, though we don't know if poor maintenance was a factor in the dam's collapse. But more broadly, the years of instability do have consequences.
The hidden costs of these dynamics of public money being taken away from infrastructure, from a lack of investment, are really making things very difficult for Libyans.
And that's the case more so than ever, as Derna begins its long recovery from this tragedy.